Good afternoon and welcome to our program, The Church's Social Teaching. I'm your regular host, Fra Theophile Tseka, a Franciscan Capuchin. And going the world over, and many people talking about elections and choosing our leaders, our topic for today and on our slot on The Church's Social Teaching, we have as topic the church and politics. And for your information and encouragement, your vote is sacred. And when we come on the subject of politics, many people ask, what is the place of the church in politics? What has the church got to say about politics? Church should remain in the Bible, on the scriptures, talk about God and the kingdom of God, and let men talk about politics and life in the city. Today we'll be discussing a very important topic, and it is about the church and the church's involvement in politics. Your vote is sacred. Remember this. When people talk about elections or hear about elections, especially in our country, Cameroon, you might think, my vote won't make a difference. The government doesn't impact my life. Voting is too complicated. My vote doesn't even matter. I am here on this slot, your host, Fra Theophile Tseka, a Franciscan Capuchin. I am here to tell you, your vote is sacred. Your vote counts. Your vote is important. And your vote matters. You probably have heard people say, it is your civic right. It is my civic right or exercise of your rights as a citizen of this nation. That is why you should vote. What does this really mean? I tell you today, it means that all power is inherent in the people. You are part of the people of the nation of Cameroon. Your vote can make a difference. I just want to indicate to you how much powers you have as an individual of this nation, as a citizen of this nation. This is what the Electoral Code of Cameroon says in Part 1, Section 2 and Article 1. It says, I quote, elections shall be by universal suffrage and by equal and secret ballot. This means that your choice secretly matters and is capable of changing a lot of things. Consequently, in the very Electoral Code, in Part 3 of the Electoral Code, Chapter 1, on the common provisions on relating to the President of the Republic, members of municipal councils and referendums, even members of parliament, on elections of these various positions, it says about qualifications of elections. This is what it says. And I ask, who qualifies to vote in the 2025 elections? And Section 45 answers us. This is what it says. Every person of Cameroonian nationality of either sex who has reached the age of 20 is registered on an electoral register and is free from all cases of disqualification provided by law, shall be entitled to be an elector or a voter. And so if you are out there already of the age of 20, know that time has come for you to change the narrative. Time has come for you to change the destiny of our country. You have enough powers that have been given you by the Constitution and by the Electoral Code, by the very fact that you are Cameroonian and of age 20 and above. Yes, you have the powers. And Section 46 of the very code gives the details of every Cameroonian capable of voting, and Section 47 gives certain conditions for electoral disqualification of every voter. And I would just like to quote the minimum disqualification factor, which states that an insane person is automatically disqualified, or someone who is unsound in mind. But I believe that most Cameroonians, if not all, of the age of 20 are qualified to vote. What are you sitting and doing? Have you registered? Do you possess your voter's card? This is time to be part of the electoral calendar to change the destiny of this country. And it is not without notice that world politics is evolving. African politics is evolving. And so, with the massive call to join in the process of changing and deciding our leaders, fellow Cameroonians, I want to remind you today, your vote is sacred. The youth of this country, remember, you have a very important and dynamic role to play in the development of this country. Those out there in the diaspora, the Cameroonian diaspora, do not fail to register and to be part of this rendezvous come 2025. Your vote is sacred. My vote is sacred. Dear young people, your votes are sacred. Register massively in your various localities. 2025 is a very sacred year for this nation. And it is the electoral year at all levels. At the level of councils, municipal elections, at the level of regions, the regional elections, at the level of the nation, the presidential elections. Yes, the parliamentary elections will also run. Register now and change the narratives. Own your voter's card. Vote and be part of the history-making event. And so, in this light, I would like our technician, Madam Kindness, to re-echo again the call by the National Episcopal Conference to be part of the rendezvous by being present, to register and to vote in the decision making for the leaders of this country.
For give advice for this life we don't hurt so for the country. For number 2 place, we talk say next year 2025, na year where they go vote big man, for put big man again for chair, or for vote new big man. That one it be so say we call all Cameroonian people, make them go register them name, put them name for book for vote. No only she done for house begin cry say you know the waka. Go put your name for vote and you vote. And we talk the same time say people where they control this vote, make them ensure, they make sure say vote it will be free and it will be fair. That means they will count any man he vote as he vote them, and they will read the results our day. That one a thing we don't talk for inside this meeting. And for finish, and we talk say some Cameroonian not the way it pass other one. All Cameroonian are Cameroonian, whether they for north, for south, for east, or for west. And therefore, we talk say the thing the way God don't give we for this country, like natural resources, make they use them for the common good. Make all man if he benefit for this use. And that one a strong message we don't give them. And for finish we talk to people that use social media, WhatsApp, TikTok, all that kind thing way when they do them so for inside telephone. We talk say that thing they don't begin to talk too much lie. They don't begin to promote falsehood. That means they don't make people that they hate one another. And when they talk say people that they use that thing, may they use social media for talk true, for give correct news, and not for promote lies and for promote hatred. I thank una plenty and may God bless una. And for finish again, we talk say this thing way they talk say that they bless man pikin and man pikin, bishop them again they don't deny. Say we no go do am for inside Cameroon, and that's so it could be. Thank una plenty and may Jorob for die, he gracia, he enter for all una family. Thank you.
If you are just tuning in now, you are on the Church's Social Teaching, and on the topic, the church and politics. Your voting right is sacred. It is a sacred right. And so today, we have just listened to the excerpt coming from the National Episcopal Conference, encouraging each one of us to go and register, to be part of the decision-making rendezvous come 2025, and not to sit back on our laurels and complain about the things that do not move, when we have all the powers to be able to put the leaders that are able to be answerable to the people. And one of the things that we must take into consideration as we prepare for these history-making events come 2025 is the fact of the social media influence. Truth must be at the heart. And to all social media users or bloggers, we encourage you to spread messages of peace, messages of encouragement, messages of mobilization and sensitization for people to go and register and be part of this history-making event come 2025. And so, I bring you one of the quotes from a renowned senator, Raphael Warnock from Georgia, at the opening of Congress in January 2021. This is what he had to say about democracy. I quote, "We believe democracy is the political enactment of a spiritual idea, that we are all children of God, and therefore we ought all to have a voice in the direction of our country and our destiny within it. Democracy honors the sacred worth of all human beings. The notion that we all have within us a spark of the divine to participate in the shaping of our own destiny. The right to vote is a sacred right." This cannot, more than ever, tell you that what you hold is divine and sacred. And in order to make this country move ahead and to give a direction, your vote can change a lot of things. Do not stay back and complain. Do not stay back and not be part of the decision making. Vote those who should make decisions about your daily life. Of course, many people will say, the government doesn't influence my life. Many people will say, voting is too complicated. Elections are complicated. How does it even matter, my vote? Yes, I tell you today, it matters. And so the right to vote is also a fundamental to and a hallmark of the functioning democracy. And if we cry about democracy as a government for the people, by the people and for the people, then it is high time you are part of this democracy building country. And as people of faith who believe in God, we believe that voting is not only a civic right, it is also a covenant we have made with one another and a moral responsibility. It is true that our Constitution gives each one of us a natural and sacred right to perform our civic duty by voting. But it is not only a civic responsibility and a civic right. It is also something divine. It is something that God has entrusted to us so that together we will build this nation and give it a common direction. Yes, we did hear. We have so many natural resources. This country is blessed with natural resources. In fact, I am sure you are not left behind with the common adage that Cameroon is Africa in miniature. Why stay behind and allow this country to fall apart? Why stay behind and not contribute to choosing a leader that will lead this country forward? Yes, this country is also the responsibility of those who are to organize the elections. In the electoral code, there is the part for the officials, those who should organize and follow up with the proclamation of the results. It is their right to remain on the side of truth. It is their right to remain in choosing the destiny of this country by being right, by being in the right direction. And so, therefore, in a truly pluralistic community and society like our own, it requires that every person, every citizen who has the right to vote is protected by law. And so do not sit and say, once I cast my vote, they will decide to do with it as they want. No. Once you vote, be there to ensure that your vote is counted. Once you vote, make sure that you follow up your vote and see that it contributes to the decision making of the leaders of our country, of our community, be it our councils, be it the members of parliament. Yes, be there and make sure that you are part of this decision making. Therefore, I urge each one of you, and that when this right is denied, when that right is abridged in any way for arbitrary reasons, it is the moral failure of that people of faith, of the people of goodwill, who are obliged to confront it. Once our rights are denied, we need to ask for our rights. It is our right to ask that our rights are not denied us. And so, to manifest and to tell ourselves that we are not happy, of course, in very respectful manners and following the laws of the nation. Remember that it is a moral failure if you don't stand up for your right and if you do not participate and contribute to build this nation. Voting, therefore, and political participation in our democracy is one of the most important ways we can honor every person's dignity. Remember, Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 to 27 tells us that we are made in the image and likeness of God. And it is God himself who says, let us make man in our own image and likeness. And remember, one of the principles of the church's social teaching is that life, the primacy of life and the dignity of a human being. That dignity is inherent in you from the very moment of your creation. These rights to vote are innate in you. Do not sacrifice it. Do not let them go. Be part of this history-making event. And so, how can we honor every person's dignity? How can we enable our vision to contribute to justice and contribute positively to the common good as members of the Cameroonian society? And so, we urge all stakeholders to ensure that the elections are organized according to the electoral code. Even if it is not perfect, let us do what it is within our reach to make sure that this game is equitable, that every citizen has a right, except those that are disqualified by the very electoral code. 2, our church has had a long history of speaking about our moral obligation to be involved in politics. And as you see from the witness of the National Episcopal Conference through its national president, His Excellency the Monsignor Andrew Nkea, the Archbishop of Bamenda, he urges all of us to be part of this history-making event, to register and to participate in the elections at all levels. And so, in this light, I want to remind you about a document that was written in 2004 by the Church, Catholics in Political Life. And I quote here the conference of the Catholic Conference of the United States Bishop. This is what it says. Catholics who bring their moral convictions into public life do not threaten democracy or pluralism, but enrich them and the nation. The separation of church and state does not require the division between belief and public action, between moral principles and political choices, but protects the right of believers and religious groups to practice their faith and act on their values in public life. And so, as a Christian, as a believer, know that it is part of your moral responsibility to be part of public life. And if you go by the definition of politics in the Republic of Plato, it is simply the management of the city. It is simply the management of the community. It is simply the management of the republic. And so, do you not think that you have something to offer as far as this management is concerned? Politics then must be part and parcel of Christian life. Even if the church is separate from the state, the church cannot stay away from the management of this very important aspect of our life. And so, Don't stay behind. As a Catholic, as a believer, be part of this decision making through your councils, through your regions, in the various sections that vote the members of parliament, and above all, at the summit of the state by voting the president of the republic in presidential elections. Be part of this making event, because your vote is very, 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 very sacred. And so we cannot say too much about your participation. Also, about forming consciences for faithful citizens. It is important that you know today that in the Catholic tradition, responsible citizenship is a virtue, and participation in political life is a moral obligation. Responsible citizenship is a virtue, and participation in political life is a moral obligation for every believer and every Christian. And so if you stay away from registering and being part of the elections, remember you fail in your moral responsibility as a Christian to contribute to the building of the republic, of the state, of the nation. And it is your right and responsibility to be part of it. And so multiple popes have also spoken about this affair, about the responsibility of Catholics to participate in the public life and in public square. I bring to you here the excerpt of Pope Benedict XVI in his first encyclical letter, Deus Caritas Est, God is love. And he offers a very good understanding and reminds Catholics of the connection between gospel values and the political participation. When he says, and I quote, "Charity must animate the entire lives of the lay faithful, and therefore also their political activity, lived as social charity." And so when you participate in elections, when you are involved in politics, in a very responsible way, in justice, charity, and truth, you are living social charity, because you help to guarantee the common good. You help to contribute to the development of the nation, of your community. And so I encourage every Catholic to be part and parcel of politics. Yes, you will complain that the political sphere is rotten, but the mission of the gospel, the mission of every Christian, is to bring Christian values in the political milieu. Be that politician who will sow truth where there is where they are life telling, who will sow peace where there is war. Be that politician who will sow unity where there is discord. Be that politician who will sow faith where there is doubt. Be that politician who will sow joy where there is sadness. Be that politician who will sow light where there is darkness. Yes, it is our responsibility. And the youths are not left out. The youths must be part and parcel of this political jamboree come 2025. And Pope Francis is not left out. This is what he has to say about our participation in the political sphere. Pope Francis says in Evangelii Gaudium, this is what he says: a good Catholic meddles in politics, offering the best of themselves so that others can govern. And he went on to say, politics, according to the social doctrine of the church, is one of the highest forms of charity because it serves the common good. He follows, therefore, in the steps of Pope Benedict XVI. So, my dear brothers and sisters, people of goodwill, to all Cameroonian citizens, voting is a concrete way for us to ensure justice where there is injustice, and charity so that they can prevail in our nation. And our Catholic tradition reinforces this as a moral obligation, which means that it is a moral duty for every Catholic. Imagine the thousands of Catholics that we have in this nation. Imagine all of us at the political rendezvous with our voters card and making our choices, imagine what nation Cameroon will be. Imagine what beautiful nation our country will be. Do not give up. There is still hope, especially to the young people. We must be part of the rendezvous. But being a diverse and participative democracy, I know it isn't easy. You will tell me from experience, when we voted in 2018, what happened to our votes? When we voted in years before, what happened to our votes? But I encourage you that the only thing that is constant in life is change. And with God, everything is possible. Unfortunately, sometimes voter suppression efforts or electoral fraud are part and parcel of the system. Yes, we decry and we say that those in charge of organizing, follow-up and proclamation of results should respect the rights of voters, because these rights and these votes are sacred. And it is divine will that every citizen should be able to give, through his or her vote, the direction to this country. We all know the shameful history, sometimes of electoral fraud in this country. Today we find ourselves discouraged. We find ourselves not interested in politics. We find ourselves in a depression, looking at our country facing several electoral challenges. Some people have indicated that there are some lapses in the electoral code. However, we call on those responsible for organizing elections to listen to other voices that will help perfect the system and make our electoral code and system the best ever. Once again, our country is faced with skyrocketing prices, skyrocketing petrol prices. Yes, prices in the market are high, cost of living high. We call on every citizen, this is time to decide who rules this nation. This is time to ask our leaders, those we want to put in power, to be responsible and answerable to us. Once again, the foundational principle of a functioning participatory democracy is being challenged by those who do not see the image of God in their fellow citizens that have the right to vote, or see themselves as being the all and all, or seeing others as having nothing to contribute. Each Cameroonian has something to contribute. There is no Cameroonian more Cameroonian than another. All of us are born Cameroonian, and we have all and equal rights. And so one of the rights that we have is the right to vote. When you qualify, as the electoral code tells us, once you are 20 of age, know that the nation counts on you. Know that the electoral code counts on you. Know that the constitution of this country counts on you to come and contribute in making the leaders of this nation, who can define our policies, who can worry about our life, who can vote laws that favor and guarantee human dignity, a better living condition. Yes, don't stay behind, because your vote is sacred. If you are just tuning in now, you are on the program, The Church's Social Teaching. And I'm your regular host, Fra Theophile Seka, a Franciscan Capuchin. And just to show the youths how important it is to be part of the electoral jamboree, I want to ask our technician to show what votes have been able to do in the democracy in Africa, Senegal, by voting a 44-year-old president in the African soil. Just watch.
Once a jailed opposition candidate, Bassirou Diomaye Faye was sworn in on Tuesday as Senegal's fifth and youngest ever president. The 44-year-old former tax inspector defeated Amadou Ba, the candidate of outgoing President Macky Sall's ruling coalition, by a landslide in the first round of voting.
Je suis conscient que les résultats sortis des urnes exprime un profond désir de
I
changement
am aware that the
systémique.
results of the ballot box express a profound desire for systematic change. Through my election, the Senegalese people have committed themselves to building a fair Senegal, a prosperous Senegal, a progressing Africa.
Dans une Afrique en progrès.
The new president has vowed to tackle corruption and introduce a series of economic reforms to prioritize national interests, including the renegotiation of oil, gas and mineral contracts with foreign operators.
Le Sénégal, sous mon magistère, sera un pays d'espérance.
Under my leadership, Senegal will be a country of hope, a country at peace, with an independent justice system and a strengthened democracy.
Démocratie renforcée, avec une justice indépendante et une démocratie renforcée.
This is my promise, based on the oath I have just taken before God and the nation in your presence.
Devant Dieu et devant la nation, en votre présence.
Over a dozen heads of state and regional representatives attended the inauguration, including Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo, and African Union Commission Chair Musa Faki Mahamat. The military juntas of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger also sent representatives. The smooth transition is a welcomed boost for the country. 3 years of political turmoil in Senegal had raised concern about democratic backsliding in the coup-prone region of West Africa, where juntas have seized power and cut ties with traditional Western allies in favor of Russia.
Par la promotion.
And so that is the roadmap for Africa. That is the roadmap for Cameroon. You cannot stay behind and complain. The Senegalese people, they took their rights, which were sacred, made sure they registered, made sure they were there to vote, and made sure their votes were counted. And that is the result. Will you stay behind and complain? Will you fail in your own moral responsibility and civic duty? Be part of this history-breaking event come 2025. And if you go back to statistics, in 2018, the results of the total voters were about 6,667,754. Imagine. That counted for about 53.85% for those who really did the vote. And that is what has costed this nation. There should be massive registration, massive sensitization, and massive vote. And this is the only way we can define our policies, by choosing our leaders. Yes, we must work hard to increase participation. We must work hard to be part of the rendezvous. Let us wake up. Let us not sit back and complain. Because if you are not at the history-making event, do not complain. And once you do not vote, you have the obligation to remain silent. It is your civic right. Grab it and make sure you change the rendezvous. This means that power is in the hands of the voters. This means that power is in the hands of the citizens, especially when it comes to choosing elected officials of this nation. Because they make really big decisions. For example, about taxes, about transportation, about healthcare policies, about employment, about justice. These are things that affect our daily life. And so, to be a Christian worth the name, to be a citizen worth the name, you must be part of this decision making about those who govern. All these issues that I mentioned affect our life considerably. And so your choices at the local level, at your council level, at your regional level, and at the national level will go in a long way to improve the life and standards of living for Cameroonians. These issues affect you. They affect me. They affect our daily life. And that is why you must recognize that your vote is sacred. You must recognize that it is a moral obligation. You must realize that it is social charity. And you must realize that it is a noble duty as a citizen of a country to take part in elections and to be part of the political jamboree, to be involved in politics. What is the contribution of Catholics, especially politicians, in Cameroonian politics? What is the contribution of believers in Cameroonian politics? What is the contribution of Christians in world politics? Ask yourself this question and become part of the management of the city and become part of the management of our nation. Yes, even a single vote can change the outcome of an election. Believe that that single vote is your vote. Believe that so many single votes will change the narrative and change the direction of this nation. If you are that voter, if you are that citizen who is still behind, change your mind. Be the first to register. Have your name inscribed in the electoral list and be the first to cast your vote. We must encourage each other in this exercise. And as we have heard about the last presidential elections, 2018, the rate was quite low, just slight above 50%. What do we plan to do in 2025? Do we want to maintain the same rate and complain after? Let us take the courage, register, and be part. And the church continues to encourage, like we heard Pope Benedict XVI right in Deus Caritas Est, like we heard Pope Francis right in Evangelii Gaudium. It is a moral responsibility and obligation. It is about social charity that we meddle in political affairs, especially Christians. And so that we can be able to contribute to the common good. And when you abstain from elections, you fail to safeguard the common good by casting your vote or not casting it. Think about it and make your decision today. If you are tuning in now, you are on the program, The Church's Social Teaching. And we are discussing church and politics. The vision of the church about the right to vote, and that the vote is sacred. And it's a sacred right. And so if you are just joining in, it's been a beautiful program, encouraging ourselves to be part and parcel of political life as Christians. Quoting Dear Nash, a charismatic veteran leader of the civil rights movement in the U.S., in one of her addresses at the National Catholic Conference in Interracial Justice in 1961, she had this to say: the problem lies not so much in our action as in our inaction. I'm wondering now if we are really remembering that this government we want to vote must be a government of the people and by the people as well for the people. Then we must do something. Are we really appreciating the fact that if you and I do not meet up these responsibilities, then our government cannot survive as a democracy? Think it over. We, the citizens, are the only ones who can change this country. We have to get to work, keep on working, and force our elected officials to implement our vision of justice and peace. That is the spirit. We have to work, to keep working, and to force our elected officials to implement our vision of justice and peace for our Cameroonian society. We must ask for accountability. We must task them to reporting to us how they govern us, how they use our resources, how they use our taxes. This is the job of every citizen. And this can only happen when we, in conscience, we choose those who govern us, forgetting about the politics of the stomach, because it will lead us nowhere. And so, we want to encourage ourselves that we, by the virtue of the fact that we are all of Cameroonian nationality, our vote can change the narrative. And that is a call to all of us. As citizens, as people of faith, as people of goodwill, we are obliged, and indeed today it is urgent than ever, that we exercise our right to vote come 2025, following the electoral calendar. Unfounded restrictions on lawful access to ballots should be eliminated. Excessive and undue requirements for citizens to exercise their right to vote or to be voted should be eliminated. The undiverging ideology of others as the black sheep should also be eliminated. And I like one of the comments after the Senegalese elections. What did he say? From a prisoner to a president. Wherever you are as a citizen, wherever you are as a qualified citizen, wherever you are, votes can change your destiny. Votes can change the destiny of this country. And so it is left unto us. The problem is not the action. The problem is the inaction. Let us make up our minds to change the narrative of this country by being part of the history-making event. Yes, participatory democracy is what we need. Do not complain after. Participate. Be part of the system. Be part of the elections in a way as to honor God's image in each one of us and in our neighbors. And that is why all of us, we must speak out against the unconstitutional attacks against the right to vote, against manipulation of electoral fraud. We must speak out. It is the place of the church to remind us that it is a God-given responsibility, in season and out of season, to encourage ourselves to be part of it. All Cameroonians need to wake up. The time to wake up is now. We have 1 year to the elections. Do not complain. Go get to work, register, be part of it, encourage others to register, and make sure you follow your votes and they are counted, and in that way we will ensure what we want for our nation. Our democracy is on the verge of collapse because many people have given up their rights to vote. This is unfair. This is ungodly. This is a failure in our moral obligation. And so all those who have given up, get up from slumber, register and be part of it. You have unrestricted power to be able to choose who governs you. And people who do not share our vision as a beloved community, we respect them. But we say all of us, we are called to be able to be part of this history-making event. The church will never tell you, vote for A or vote for B. Yes, we all recognize there is no perfect candidate. But use your conscience and the policies of this nation. Use the constitution to decide who you want to rule you. The church puts forth values. The church does not do policies. The church puts up values like respect of human rights and human dignity. Yes, we must be able to put people who respect life. We must be able to put people who work for the common good. We must be able to put people who care about the rights of workers and their well-being. We must be able to put people who have the good of Cameroonians at heart. Living conditions, working conditions, who work for their people. You cannot fully live the gospel except you are in the world. And that is the place of the church. The church says all of us, we are made in the image and likeness of God with rights that are in it. And in order for us to build and continue building and recreating the world that God has created, we must be part of politics. We need to be informed and to be open. Listen to the various projects for society that the various political parties have, that the various individuals have, and make your choices. But you must be informed, because without information, you will definitely make the wrong choice. And so, if you are just tuning in, we are on the program, The Church's Social Teachings. We talk church and politics. We emphasize on the place in the church in politics. And we are saying your right to vote is a right that is sacred, and your vote is sacred. And be part and parcel of the politics. Bring your faith into bearing so that life can become better, and life in society, in your community, and wherever you find yourself will become better for everybody. And so, how do we need to dispose ourselves for the elections? 1, we must know what the scripture says about behavior in society and about leadership. 2, we must follow the news and the newsletters. The National Episcopal Conference says, let those who are responsible for information be responsible. No manipulative information. Let what is put out in the social media outlets be truth and nothing but the truth. In this way, we can be all guided and help to make the right choices. The Electoral Code. Go and check out what the Electoral Code says about elections, how to monitor and ensure that your vote is sacred and is counted and counts. Go to the Constitution. It guarantees your rights. And of course, the church's social teaching is here to guide and to help you to be part of this political life in the community. If you are a Catholic, don't shy away from politics. If you are a well-wisher, don't shy away from politics. If you are a good citizen, don't shy away from politics. And it's been wonderful being with you. But before I take leave of you, I want you again to listen to the direction and the vision of the bishops of Cameroon for each Catholic and about participation in politics. Let us listen to them again.
Let's give advice for this life we don't have so for the country. For number 2 place, we talk say next year 2025, na year where they go vote big man, for put big man again for chair, or for vote new big man. That one it be so say we call all Cameroonian people, make them go register them name, put them name for book for vote. Not only she done for house begin cry say you know the waka, go put your name for vote and you vote. And when they talk the same time say people where they control this vote, where they ensure, they make sure say vote it will be free and it will be fair. That means they will count any man he vote as he vote them, and they will read the results our a day. That one a thing we don't talk for inside this meeting. And for finish, and with the talk say some Cameroonian not the way he pass other one. All Cameroonian na Cameroonian, whether they for north, for south, for east, or for west. And therefore, with the talk say they think the way God don't give we for this country, like natural resources, make they use them for the common good. Make all man if he benefit for this use. And that one a strong message we don't give them. And for finish them, we talk to people that use social media, WhatsApp, a TikTok, all that kind thing where when they do them so for inside telephone. When they talk say that thing they don't begin to talk too much lie. They don't begin to promote falsehood. That means they don't make people that they hate one another. And when they talk say people that they use that thing, may they use social media for talk true, for give correct news, and not for promote lies and for promote hatred. I thank you plenty, and may God bless you. And for finish them again, we talk say this thing way they talk say that they bless man pikin and man pikin, bishop them again they don't deny. Say we no go do them for inside Cameroon, and that's so it could be. Thank you plenty, and may Jorob for die, he gracia, he enter for all una family. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the President of the National Episcopal Conference of Cameroon, for reiterating the fact that all of us, we need to go and register and vote, and not to stay behind and complain. We also crave the indulgence of those responsible for conducting, monitoring the elections to make sure that we are on the side of truth. And I will not leave you without reminding you that to vote is part of social charity. And listen to this quote. Voting is the expression of our commitment to ourselves and one another, this country and this world. If you do not vote, we are ignoring history and giving away the future. Every election is determined by the people who show up. And so when you do not show up, don't complain. And when you do not show up, take what those who have shown up have provided. And so we must remind ourselves that we will be part of it. The vote is precious. It is sacred. It is the most powerful, non-violent tool we have in a democratic society. And we must use it. That is what John Lewis tells us. We must use it. And it's been wonderful being in your beautiful company and remain in the beautiful programs of GMR TV. I've been your regular host, Fra Theophile Seka, a Franciscan Capuchin, on the slot, the church's social teaching. Stay blessed.